here at my computer doing some editing of this footage. I just wanted to do a quick intro. This is a video concerning how to install a drawer. I've been suffering with trying to figure out how to do it and not have it too short to make the span across one side to the next. And I've hit a mental block. I was just unable to do it. So this video I'm sending to Mark, who is I met at the Wood Whisperer Guild mentorship program. He's a more advanced woodworker than me. He's helping me walk through this, and so this is the video that I'm going to show him. I'm putting it up on YouTube. I hope you guys watch it and give some comments. Consider subscribing to the channel so I can get comments on how to build better. That's what this whole thing is about. So I appreciate you watching, and here we go. So the issue has come down to my measurements, right? I mean, this is what I've been stressing, that somehow I screw up my measurements. And so let's talk about it. My initial issue right here, if you see it right, was that I had to shim 1/4 of an inch because I was off on my measurements there, right? So my overall length is 22 and 3/8. 22 and 3/8. 22 and 3/8. That's where my initial size is from wall to wall in this cabinet, right? So if I minus an inch, half inch, so a total of an inch off of the total amount because of these glides, which they say minus a half inch for each one, so a total of an inch. Then I'm at 21 and 3/8, right? 21 and 3/8. But in this particular drawer, I didn't do it. I did the pocket holes on the sides and inside. And I want to do the pocket holes up front. So that means that this back piece here, the side wall, is going to extend up here, and this would fit on the interior wall in between these two rather than outside of these two. So I have to compensate for that, this material is about half inch, right? Half inch, so another inch. So then I'm at 20 and 3/8 for that particular measurement. All right, now let's talk depth. The total depth is going to be 21 inches. So I just need something that's 21 inches. That's pretty simple, right? So 21 for the sides. I don't know how I could screw that up, but I tell you, I screw up everything. So, all right, let's get to cutting down the stock. So, in this particular shot, I am utilizing the tape measure. Now, I'm measuring out my first initial cut to the size. Now, I had to bring that pad of paper over so that I did it right, because I am terrible at remembering numbers. I used the Kreg track saw in order to make the cuts. What I'm finding is that my two sources for cutting outside of this, the sled that I built and my miter saw, are just not as accurate as this track saw. So I got a good cut there. Was able to put this up and make a repetitive cut, still using the track saw. so that worked out really well. I did this for all 4 cuts, and it worked out great. So the next step was to take it over to the small portable router table that I got from Rockler. I've got a Bosch little Colt router in there, and I have a 1/4-inch bit, and I ran all 4 of the door sides in this little router table, and in the end it came out just fine. In case you were wondering, I was wearing dust protection. The very next step was to put in the pocket holes, and here I have I think it's the K3 Craig pocket hole jig. I wish I had a 4 or a 5, but for my needs particular at this time, this is just fine. I'm not on the best surface for screwing it in, but pocket holes are difficult as long as you set up the jig properly, and don't go too deep or too shallow with your drill cuts. But again, that's just setting up the jig, and I did just fine here. I set it up just fine. Here I have the finished holes. I'm showing you my beauty holes. I just showed you there. I can count to 4, so I got 4 holes together, and now a long beauty shot of those beautiful Craig holes. So the final part is assembly, and as I said, I think I might have said at the very beginning, I really wasn't concerned with building this drawer as far as the mechanics of assembly. So this went forward pretty straightforward. The only issue that I really had on my cuts was that the base of the drawer was a little bit off on measurement, so it wasn't really grabbing really well inside the dado, and I don't know if that's going to come out to be an issue in the long run. It seemed pretty sturdy enough after I attached it, so hopefully this will all work out. Oh, I brought the piece over to the other drawer that I already had in there. Remember, I had a 1/4-inch shim in there, so this needed to at least cover that distance of that 1/4 inch. And by putting it up to the other side, because I don't have another glide, I was able to see that it did in fact appear to cover the distance. So I think this might have been a success in the drawer. Maybe it was just taking my time. So it looks like it covered the distance. I won't know until I get my drawer glides together whether or not that worked. Like I said, building the drawer wasn't all that frustrating. It's just this final bit, trying to see if it's going to fit, that scared me. Anyway, so we'll see. Did it work? Looks like it might have. Looks like I've got my numbers down better. The bottom of the drawer, the drawer bottom, looks like it could have been a little bit longer on one direction, so I've got a little bit of bite, I think, on my panel to the dados. I'm not terribly happy with that, but you know, I mean, it's all in all, it's much better, and we'll see what goes on. I appreciate the review. of this build. I was certainly in a stuck place, and that was no fun. I didn't want to go forward with building anything, and this concept of having it reviewed, building it to have it reviewed, has been very helpful. Thanks for watching.